Hi Taneall, thank you for coming along today. We're so excited to have you here. We're so pumped because we saw your story in our private Facebook book group from Additive Free Made Easy, and it touched at me and Joe straight away. It was so incredible. We could not believe the changes that had happened in your life. So we really are grateful to you to come along and share that story with all our followers because it's incredible. So we'll get into the interview because we really are so excited, like I said, to share this with everyone because it's just totally amazing. Joe's here as well, and I'll welcome Joe to the call as well. Joe.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming to do this. And yeah, as I was saying just before it got hit record. Oh God, I'm all tongue tied. Yeah, your story is incredible. So I'm super pumped and I can't wait to hear it all again and share it with everyone.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Can you just tell us what a typical day was like before you joined Additive Free Made Easy?
Oh, okay. It was pretty horrendous, really. My entire life was controlled by my son Jordy, who at the time wasn't even 4. It had been building up, and yeah, it just all depended on his mood and what sort of little scenario he needed to play out at that time. So yeah, it was. I missed many events because we were just basically in Jordy's world.
Yeah. Yeah. And was he aggressive or just naughty, or what you would call naughty? Or
yeah, to start with, for many years and months, I thought he was just a naughty boy. It wasn't until it just intensified, if you know what I mean. And he was getting bigger and stronger and more aggressive towards me. So that's when I called the GP 3 times, I think, and then rescheduled because I thought, no, this is something I can handle. But in the end, it's just something I knew that I had to get help with.
Yeah. And that's it as parents, isn't it? You do have this gut feeling. And did you have friends and family saying to you things like, oh, he's just a normal 3-year-old. Yeah. Oh, he's just going through the terrible twos. You'll be all right. How did you have that kind of thing happening?
Definitely. In the end, I sort of shut down and I wasn't talking to anybody. So there was so much going on and I would just make excuses for not having to be somewhere at a certain time because people just didn't understand. It didn't matter. You would start to say, oh, this has happened. Oh, yes, we go through that every now and then. And it was just on a whole nother level. So in the end, I just, stuck to myself and that's how I had to handle it. Yeah.
It can get quite isolating, can't it?
Definitely, yeah.
What kind of things, if you're okay to share it, what kind of things was he doing?
Okay. We would have to get out of the car in a certain order. And it wasn't the same thing over and over, which was tricky for us to understand. So we couldn't read it. So if someone got to the front door first, we would have to go back and start over and over again. If somebody was looking the wrong way, we would then have to go back to the start and start all over again. And this could go on for 45, usually around 50 minutes was the time frame. And then he would just be exhausted and we would get some relief.
So can you explain, sorry, we'll just take it back one step. Can you explain to people what the doctors diagnosed Jordy with?
Okay. About 9 months ago, he was diagnosed with ADHD, OCD and ODD, which is the oppositional defiance disorder.
Yeah, and I have to confess, I hadn't actually heard of that. So I had to say to Jo, what's that? And she explained it all to me. So can you explain just really briefly what they all mean?
Okay, so the ADHD was just Jordy just buzzing around non-stop, throwing things, punching his sister, throwing balls at the wall. It just could not relax and sit down. We could never ever, with our daughter, we could read a book from day dot. Never read a book to Jordy. He just could not sit still enough to even read the first page. The OCD was more to do with him having to do things in a particular order. We just could not get past the point. We would have to go back to the start.
It's just no reasoning with him at all?
Absolutely not, no. The oppositional defiance disorder was all about just not being able to parent him, no matter what. We couldn't bribe him, we couldn't do anything at all, and he really was in control. Yeah, definitely.
That must have just been so hard. Like,
we were just walking on eggshells.
So
minute after minute after minute, just trying to anticipate the next step, trying to work out what might tick him off. Yeah, it was just amazing. You wouldn't even believe the stories that I've got. Yeah.
And what sort of food were you eating prior to Additive Free Made eating?
Well, we didn't think that we were eating terribly bad. They would have less snacks. They would have orange juice. Not a lot of it. I would go never ever fizzy drinks. I still rarely will let them have that.
Things that are marketed healthy that you think.
Yeah, for sure. Cereals.
Nothing artificial or something on the front, and you think, well, that's got to be all right.
Definitely not.
Yep.
I thought I was pretty on top of it. Yeah.
Which we all
do. Eating like Vegemite sandwiches.
Yes.
Muesli bars.
Yes.
Just
that's right.
Food that I guess a lot of us have grown up on. Really.
Yeah, and a lot of white bread. My mum works at Banjo's, so we were always going there to get bread. That was a staple, So, yeah. Yep.
And then the post on Facebook that we're here to interview about today. Can you explain that to us?
Okay, that was just a realisation from another mum about her child. Being able to identify what's bad and what's not. And I was just sort of commending her on that and saying, that's excellent when they realise that. The other day I was at the supermarket and I said to Jordy, you can have that yogurt at the top. And he was asking for other things right in front of him, which is really quite bad how they do it. Once upon a time, it just wouldn't happen. He just would not ever say, okay, mum. But now he is. He's saying, yeah, okay. And occasionally I get the whatever, but at least I know that he's accepting, the changes. Yeah.
Amazing. How did you, so going back a bit, for those people that haven't done Additive Free Made Easy, It is a 4-week course into, I guess, learning about the worst additives and preservatives that are on the market at the moment and how to go about avoiding them. So you've obviously done the course, and I want you to tell people what happened on Christmas Day, and go right back from the start.
Sure. Christmas Day started off with pancakes in a shaker bottle. And the kids loved it, but not long after that, we just had yet another massive meltdown. He had a Band-Aid on his foot, and when he realised it wasn't there, he was adamant that it was in his room. So he would lock me in his room, and it sounds crazy, a 4-year-old locking their mum in a room, but it just went on and on and on, and it completely ruined the day. These sort of things just happen any day. It doesn't matter whether it's Christmas Day or a birthday or anything like that. And that's when my friend had pointed out your course, and I'd had a bit of a look into it. My dad had given me money for Christmas, and lunchtime, Christmas Day, I signed up. It was like, this has to happen, and if this is how I get to do it, what more, could be better. My dad said to me, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm going to get emotional. And I just said, I just want Jordy to be better. So.
Well done. So you spent your Christmas money on a course for your son.
Definitely. And it was the best money ever. Yeah.
Oh, what a mum. Well done. And with the course, how did you find it going through?
Yeah. Look, it was just such an eye-opener. It was simple things that I wouldn't have even thought about. Just with the orange juice, we live in the Huon Valley, so we're actually really lucky to have farmers in our family, so we have access to fresh fruit and vegetables. But just to be able to look out for the 100% juice and not, just the fruit boxes that you would get for your children. So now we just know what switches to make, and we would never, ever have known any different. I mean, you hear about the numbers but you don't truly understand. So that little pocket card that you've given us is what's turned it all around. So, thank you.
You're welcome. And I just was, it was just a question popped into my head now, I can't think of it. So you were doing, you were having fresh fruits and you were doing all those things, and then, this card arrives in the mail. Did you just go through your pantry and just throw everything out, or did you just sort of take our motto of don't stress it and slowly work your way through the course 1 week at a time?
I did do it slowly, and I believe that, that's the way to do it because it sinks in. It is a gradual process. The first 2 shops, I think, took me 2 hours, It was really tough, and I just thought, wow, is this what I'm going to go through? But it does. It definitely gets easier and easier, and now you just don't even think about it. So, just those swaps and all the little webinars that you do, with what to shop for in the supermarket shops, that just helps so much. Like plain chips, not the covered ones, but they're not missing out. They're not,
Yeah, absolutely. And when did you notice a change? Like, when did you first go, do you know what? There's been a difference.
Okay. Look, I did notice sort of a couple of weeks in. If we had major meltdowns, I could relate it back to something. So that's when I started to think, this is really working. It wasn't until, recently, when we were on medication, we were on Ritalin, and that was just a nightmare for him. So then we went to dexamphetamine, and I hated putting him on it. I just felt defeated. So recently we went back to the pharmacy and we had exceeded our dose. There was a lack of communication between the doctor, the psychiatrist and the pharmacy. So we couldn't have it for a weekend, and I literally wanted to vomit, and my knees I nearly crumbled in the pharmacy. But after 2 days, my mum sort of didn't know that he wasn't on the medication, said to me, gee, he's been a different child today. And I sort of thought, oh, what's he done? What has he done? Because I was out for the afternoon. And she said, he's been laughing, he's been engaging, he's been coming up with, really appropriate words like, Uncle Gail, he calls them Uncle Gail because he's not sure with the auntie, is just hilarious, and she'd never heard him talk like that. So I decided to leave it for a bit longer, and that's when I really knew, and it was cemented that it was the diet and the change. Yeah,
that's just incredible. It blows my mind really to think that there's doctors and health professionals, and we're not doctors or health professionals at all. But we've done a lot of research and read a lot of medical documents that say, and listened, to so many interviews and different things ourselves, that, food is related. And, we're not trying to say that doctors don't know anything, of course, because of course they do.
Understand, yes.
But, living proof is living proof. So how do you explain that?
Yeah. We were set up for a lifetime of Ritalin or dexamphetamine, and we were just told, at certain times of the year you can take him off it and see if there's been any change. 2 out of 3 will outgrow it, but other than that, you're stuck with it. So it's basically a choice between an education or medication. So, we thought we were doing the right thing. Yeah.
So what would you say to those families out there still on the fence about food, I guess, and, you know, maybe thinking it's a bit cuckoo. Like, what would you say?
Oh, definitely not. It's not a cuckoo at all. You really do need to give it a go before you can make any comment. And why wouldn't you? If there's a better option out there, why wouldn't you try it?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, for sure. And it's all about education, and you've provided those tools. Yeah, it's just, you know, I've got friends of mine that just don't know any better, but I'm sort of trying not to take over and respect, you know, respect what they want to do and how they want to parent. But yeah, I do believe that if they were just to have a look and to understand a bit better, then they would see, yeah, that, you know, you've got to try this alternative before the other.
Yeah. So now that people are aware that your son is off the medication, have they commented on his changes that they've seen?
Yes, yeah. Everyone's, without even, you know, some of them don't even know that he's been on medication. But, yeah, my father-in-law said, oh, he's so much happier and he's talking more and he's just engaging. And at school, I've let them know about the difference and just asked them to be my eyes, because I can't, you know, be a fly on the wall at school. And, yeah, they've just said how much happier he is and how they can have a joke with him, whereas before he could do that, but he was very somber. And I guess to an extent he was drugged up, you know. And yes, at the time that's what you think you need to do. And for some people, I have no doubt that they probably will need to do that. But just to have that feedback was just reassuring to know that we'd found the culprit. Yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it? And what about Jordy? So, like, I know for Eva, when it comes to food, and I say, look, you know, look, babe, that one's got full of additives, she'll go, okay, mum, because she knows how it makes her feel. Yeah. So would you say that about Jordy? Like, he's starting to recognise only just after a few short months that, no, that one's not going to make me feel very good.
Yeah, for sure. We had another appointment, and hopefully I laughed with the psychiatrist yesterday, and he was very patient in the room, whereas before he'd be kicking and screaming and throwing chairs around, and one day he gouged my face. But now he knows that we don't need to go back if he has the right food, and he's been telling everyone that. Just this last day, he sort of told Nan, you know, if I eat the right food, I don't need to go back, and I don't need to have. He just hated being different, so we had to medicate him without him knowing, which was also incredibly hard. He's put on nearly 3 kilos just in that time because he's eating better and he's got an appetite, whereas before he didn't, and we would have to remind him to eat, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, because Ritalin does that. It's a depressant for your appetite. So you know, I guess you can lose a lot of weight, and it is something that families definitely need to watch on Ritalin, isn't it? Because of no appetite.
Yes, and sleep. His sleeping was, you know, up the creek. I've been sleeping with him for months and months and months, and now he's tired out. 7, 8 o'clock, he's in bed, and he's up the next morning, and it's all good. So
incredible. Yeah. And what have the doctors said? What did the psychiatrist say when you went in and said, you know what, this is what I've done? And, you know, what was their opinion?
Yeah, he was, it was a bit difficult to say to him at the start, because you're almost saying, you know, not you were wrong, because that's not what you're saying. But, I told him that I'd found another way. I took in my card. I showed him the difference. And he could see, he's seen Jordy absolutely off the show, and he could see his behaviour yesterday. Even, you know, the admin staff commented on how patient he was. And he actually took a copy of your card for future clients.
Wow.
So he, very impressed. And he actually said thank you, you know, for trying different things and to find out what works for us. Everybody's different, and it's,
absolutely.
It was good. It was a good feeling.
Yeah. It's just it's amazing. Like I'm almost speechless, and I'm not speechless very often. Um,
Yeah.
It's just so incredible that food can make such an impact on on his life and your life. 'Cause, that's incredible.
Yeah. We things are calmer, definitely, and we actually can see that we can live, like other people, and not have to miss out on events. And so forever
So
grateful.
proud of you. Absolutely so proud of you, and the journey you've gone down. You're a real inspiration, and to think that you spent your Christmas money on your son is truly incredible. So thank you for being a part of it. I mean, you're still massive part of the group, as people probably don't know. A lot of courses open up a group and then it closes at the end of the course, or we've kept our group open and it will always be open. So
and the rest of it is everything. You've got an alternative for everything. So what you've done is just brilliant, and I just really do believe that everyone needs to get on board, because they'll do themselves a favour in the end. Yeah, it's a small price to pay, really. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Taneall, for being here and sharing your story with us. It's truly inspirational, and we really, really appreciate you taking the time to be interviewed by us today. So thank you, and we'll chat to you in the group soon.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of people out there that will be very inspired by your story.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.